A tenant moving out of a rental property can mean a lot of work for landlords. Apart from having to look for a new tenant, landlords also have to make sure the rental property is ready to be rented out again. To do this, the landlord or property manager must clean and sanitize the entire unit. Welcome back, Loopers. My name is Sydney and I'm a content creator here at DoorLoop. In this video, we'll be covering everything you need to know about how clean you should expect the rental property to be left, as well as how to perform a deep cleaning process to get it ready for a future tenant. To begin, let's go over the condition that the property managers should expect the property to be left in. Before doing the final move-out inspection, it's important to know what to expect of the tenant. The rental unit is probably not going to be perfect, but this does not mean that the security deposit should be withheld. These are some of the best ways to know what condition to expect your rental property to be in. First is the lease agreement. The lease agreement or rental agreement typically outlines some of the tenant's responsibilities when it comes to cleanliness. If it does, it should serve as a guide to how the property should be left. For example, if the lease agreement specifically states that the backyard must be kept clean, the tenant can be charged if the backyard is not cleaned when moving out. If the lease agreement does not include any section on cleanliness, the next steps may be more useful. Another way to know what condition the property should be left in is by looking at the move-in checklist. The move-in checklist serves as a comparison tool to know what has changed in the property and what needs to be fixed. Some landlords choose to do a move-out inspection slightly before the tenant moves out. Then the inspection results serve as a cleaning checklist for the tenant and they have a chance to do some final move-out cleaning. However, when comparing the two inspections, it's important to differentiate between property damage and normal wear and tear, explained next. One of the most important things to remember when conducting a move-out inspection is the difference between this property damage and normal wear and tear. Some examples of normal wear and tear include fading carpets, loose grout lines, small scuffs or marks on the walls, and warped doors and windows. All of these are examples of very minor property damage that should not be deducted from the security deposit. Some examples of property damage include large carpet stains, holes in the doors or the walls, broken windows, peeling or unauthorized wallpaper. These are examples of things that cannot be fixed easily and may require a dedicated cleaning service. In these cases, part of the security deposit may be deducted to cover all the cleaning expenses. So now that we know what condition to expect a property to be left in, let's quickly discuss how to tell if a tenant is unsanitary when conducting a move-out inspection. When the property manager or owner is doing the final inspection, there are some things to pick up on that serve as a signal that the tenant does not take care of the property. One of the first telltale signs is that they have garbage lying around in the property. This garbage can pile up around the property and cause problems. It can also pose as a fire or safety hazard. Another easy way to spot a tenant that does not take care of the property is mold. One of the most common places for mold to grow is on the bathroom walls. Some landlords can require that tenants report any signs of mold, but if they do not, they can have part of the security deposit withheld from them. If the landlord or property manager smells foul odors as soon as they walk into the property, there's a good chance that the tenant does not take very good care of the property. There are many ways that foul smells can infect rental units, but most of them can be prevented with general cleanliness. When a property owner walks into the rental property, the last thing they want to see is an insect infestation. If the rental unit is infested with insects or rodents, the tenant can be responsible for the expenses of removing them. In the case that a landlord discovers that a tenant does not clean or sanitize the rental property, it is up to them to take care of it. Here are 6 of the best things you can do to make sure your rental property is clean and sanitary. Remember that there are only 6 things on this list, but situations vary and there may be many more things to do in some properties. The first thing to do you should have actually done before the tenant moved in. Including a cleanliness clause in your lease agreement can help the tenant gain an idea of what is expected of them. It also allows the property manager to hold the tenant liable if they do not follow any of those rules. After making sure that your lease agreement is in order, it's time to get to cleaning. The most notable parts of the rental property to be cleaned are the floors, walls, and ceilings. This deep cleaning, especially carpet cleaning, can be a real hassle. This is why many property managers choose to go with a cleaning company to take care of it. A cleaning service will typically take care of these parts as well as most of the other things on this list. Run UVC lights. Although running UVC lights may not make a noticeable difference, it's important especially in these times. UVC light is a special wavelength of ultraviolet light that serves to disinfect large areas. Using these lights in your rental property allows you to disinfect complete rooms just by turning them on. Inspect HVAC systems. A property's HVAC system can serve as a breeding ground for dangerous bacteria and viruses. It can also get clogged up and make your electricity bills go up. To prevent this, it's important that property managers inspect the HVAC systems and the property to make sure that there's no mold growing. It's important to make sure that the air ducts are clear and the air is flowing freely. Another way to make sure that the air quality in your rental property is good is to install air purifiers. Installing air purifiers is a great great way to clean the air around a certain area and make sure that it's free of bacteria or viruses. Some of the benefits of higher air quality include eliminating unwanted odors, it's better for the environment, happier tenants, and making it easier to breathe. Clean or replace furnishings. Especially for furnished apartment move-out cleanings, it may be a good idea to clean or replace all furnishings. This means replacing things like couches, chairs, carpets, tables, or beds. There are also other smaller things that could be replaced, like light fixtures, smoke detectors, locks, or air filters. All of these are things that should be replaced or taken care of before renting out the property to another tenant. These were the 6 best things to do to clean and sanitize your rental property for future tenants. But what if you could prevent a portion of this cleaning? If your tenants regularly clean and sanitize the rental property, you won't have to worry about deep cleaning it when they move out. So here's some of the best ways to get your tenants to do just that. Require it in the lease agreement. As I've mentioned before, requiring cleanliness in the lease agreement is always a great idea. When a tenant knows they're responsible for the cleaning of a rental property, they'll probably take better care of it. It's also a good idea to explain to them the consequences of not keeping the rental property clean. Most tenants are very fond of their security deposits, so they will work to make sure they keep it. Another great way to make sure that your tenants maintain cleanliness is by conducting inspections. When you conduct inspections, you can let the tenant know if they're not taking enough care of the property and give them a chance to fix it. However, there are many rules and regulations regarding rental property inspections, so make sure to check your local laws and state laws. Finally, the best way to make sure that your tenants take care of the property is by screening them. When screening a tenant, landlords can find all sorts of information about their rental history. This can show any evictions, problems with landlords, complaints, or anything else pertaining to renting. You can even do this and much more with DoorLoop's property management software. So click the link down in the description for more information. I really hope this video helped you out, and if it did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more property management content. You can also check out this playlist for more tips, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!